This is an ABP Live Podcast.
Hi guys, you're listening to Ladies First on ABP Live Podcasts, and I am Niharika Nanda, your host. Every week we talk to a girl boss of the 21st century, a woman who is slaying her field totally and is bringing up new fields, is employing more women, and is making herself the Nari of today. So today we have Ms Supreet Raju with us. Hello, ma'am. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me on this show, Niharika. Pleasure to be here.
It's all my pleasure. And to give my audience a little background about you, Ms. Supreet Raju is a designer by profession. And now she has launched herself into the huge field of blockchains and NFTs through her own brainchild, One Rare. So, welcome to ABP Live Podcasts. And let's talk about you. Let's talk about how you got into designing.
Oh, so design has actually been a part of my life for a long, long time. I think I was one of those kids back in class 2 or 3 who would actually draw a fashion designer as the thing they wanted to be when
Right,
people were
right.
drawing doctors and engineers. So I think I think because of my older sister thinking it's a great profession, you tend to copy them. So from
Right,
class
right,
2 or 3, bizarrely, I knew I wanted to go to NIFT and only NIFT. And I mean, I was very clear that I wanted to be a fashion designer back then. So design is something that I think was always just a part of who I was. Of course, the
absolutely.
fields of design have changed a lot now.
Right, right. So to be so sure about, एक चीज होती है that everyone knows कि ठीक है मुझे ये बनना है, and whether or not you follow through on that is a separate thing. And you not only followed through on what you wanted to, but also the institute that you were so sure कि मुझे NIFT ही जाना है is so amazing.
Yeah, I don't know why. I think it was the only one back then. Like I'm a
Right.
2010 graduate, and I think back
Hmm.
in the 90s, that was the only place you could have heard of because you didn't really know the foreign colleges. You didn't know
Hmm.
anything better. So I
Right,
think
right.
it was just like, where do you go for fashion design? NIFT. So it was pretty
NIFT.
sorted for me.
That is very true. And then you landed up there. So, how was your time in NIFT? I mean, NIFT is such a reputed college. I'm sure that those would have been like, the golden years of your life, as it is pretty much for everyone as far as college is concerned. So, any
Yeah.
memorable moments from your time at NIFT that you would like to share with us?
I think the one thing people don't realize going to NIFT is how hard it is. So that is something
Hmm.
even I was not aware of. And actually,
Right.
my husband is an engineer and he laughs about how little they went to college and versus us who had like Saturday night, 9:30 p.m. We would be like begging for more lab time. We would get the lab opened on Sundays to go
My
and work
God.
on our weaving looms. So I think uh, people don't realize the amount of time of Niftian spends actually doing their course and syllabus. But that's what makes it fun because the whole class is always together. We didn't have a book
Right.
for 4 years. There was no book. It was
My
education that
God.
was imparted directly, looking at other people's work, taking inspiration, going to the library, checking out what's new. I think it's a very different course to be in. And definitely for me, they were very exciting times. I loved the work. I actually graduated a gold medalist, not because it's
Wow.
something academically brilliant, but it was just that's how fun the work was. So I
Right.
think and I've made friends for life there. I think like everybody's college experience, so not just
Absolutely.
mine.
Right. And to be able to excel in the field, because I have seen so many people, even personally, I know a lot of people who make it a goal of XYZ thing कि मुझे ये करना है, but then following through on that, working on that is really tough. But you not just, went to that institute, did it, and emerged a gold medalist. So kudos to you for that.
Thank you. Yeah, but I think when I was in NIFT, I realized I can't be a fashion designer. So you also go through that cycle of knowing
Hmm.
better what you want to do in your life when you're 10 years old than when you're 20 years old. So I think my career
Absolutely. Right.
crisis started then.
आई थिंक दैट इज द केस प्रीटी मच फॉर एवरीवन. वो रियलिटी चेक मिलता है एकदम से कि अरे यार
Yeah.
ये नहीं हो सकता, बट the field still remains the same, but the subfield sort of changes.
Exactly. I think so for me, everything I know of design is from the principles of design I've learned. So
Hmm.
I actually graduated in textile designs and I don't do that now, but
Right.
it's just the design principle and the education is so strong that the base helps in whatever I do.
Exactly. So talking about that, now you are into NFTs and blockchains and all of these metaversey things. So let's like break it down for our audience. Like, can you tell us the basics? Like, what is an NFT and how does it sort of works in the world today?
Okay. So I think I'll just start with, something, the small tidbit that I am one of
Hmm.
those persons who used to run away from blockchain. Like when my
Right.
husband Gaurav would say something, I'll be like, "Mujhe nahi sunna. This is not for me. It's making me feel stupid." So for
Right.
me now, every time I'm asked these questions, I try to answer them in a way that I would have appreciated someone telling me. So
Right.
I think
Absolutely.
that I'll try to do it to the easiest of the abilities that I understand. So
Hmm.
NFTs, the word, of course, is non-fungible token. But if
Hmm.
you think of it in a different way, it's any digital asset, a photo we
Okay.
have on our phone, a video we have on our phone, a
Hmm.
bill of electricity, our rental deed. So we have all these documents, our phone is filled with so many of these things. If
Right.
you go and record them on the blockchain, they
Hmm.
become NFTs because now you have gone
Okay.
and recorded them on the blockchain. So they
Hmm.
exist there as an asset. That's simply what an
Acha.
NFT is. So
Okay, got it.
anything we own, any picture of us, our dog, a music we like, if we simply go and put it on the blockchain, it will become an NFT. And that's what makes
Okay.
it kind of unique because you have gone and recorded it. It will get its own serial number. So it has a unique identity.
Right, right. Okay, and like for you, who is a designer, moving from designing to NFTs, how did that happen? Like you yourself said that this was something that was not exactly your forte, but then you made it your forte. So how did that happen?
Actually, so my co-founder, also my husband, was in blockchain for a longer while than me. He started in
Okay.
2017, and I think
Hmm.
initial 2 years was a lot about crypto and building the base protocols, and it was very very technical. So
Hmm.
actually, NFTs is the first time that, as a creative person, I felt this is something I can do because when you
Hmm.
look at an artwork, I think that's when all designers started thinking that there is some
Right.
scope for them in the industry. So that's
Exactly.
kind of how it came for me as well. That when I saw CryptoPunks, which is the
Hmm.
first NFTs that kind of went viral and started selling for millions, I was like,
Right.
"Arey, kar sakte hain. We can do this.
Right. Right.
We
This
need
is
to
something
think
that
about what
resonates
we
with
can
me
do."
and my work.
Yeah, exactly. Because it had that amount of creativity with
Hmm.
technology. So I think
Right.
that NFTs is probably the only reason I got inside Web3, to be honest.
Hmm. Okay. And like talking about NFTs in general, your the company that you created out of it, One Rare, it talks about food metaverse. So what is that? Like we've all sort of now heard about metaverse in general, but what is a food metaverse?
So actually, the food metaverse is something that is bringing the food industry to the blockchain and
Okay.
allowing them to kind of create better digital experiences. So
Hmm.
it is not a replacement for the real world. It doesn't mean that you will eat your burger virtually. Of course not. You need to enjoy it in the real life,
Right,
would taste
exactly.
and that whole experience. But Abhi, we spend so much time on these apps. You want to eat somewhere new, you'll go to Google Maps and you'll probably look up a place to eat, check
That is
reviews,
really
go to
exactly.
Zomato, check
Hmm.
out what menu they're offering, then use a banking app to pay for your order. There'll be a
Right.
delivery guy. So we are spending a
Basically,
lot of
top to
time.
bottom, everything is being done online and through apps.
Exactly. So that experience goes from a 2D, app to app movement into a much more fun 3D experience where,
Okay.
whichever brand you have, let's say,
Hmm.
hum sab, especially jo Delhi wale hain, since bachpan we've been going to Pandara Road. So everybody is
Hmm.
like such a fan of Gulatis or Have More,
Right,
right?
right.
So right now, even if you're the biggest fan of Gulati, the only way you can kind of contribute to them is by actually going there and ordering
Hmm.
and, being a part. But if
Right.
they are in the metaverse, you can actually be a part of their loyalty club, be involved with them in a way that, as a genuine patron, let's say when
Hmm.
Golati decides to change their menu, you can come and
Hmm.
vote in on what their new menu should be. You can come
Okay.
and, there are just so many interesting things that even a
Hmm.
customer wants to tell the brand that they can't.
Right,
So
right.
I
There are
think
always
that is
feedbacks that are not shared. There are always things that in the mind, and especially favorite restaurants के केस में तो बहुत बारी ऐसी चीजें होती ही हैं सबके दिमाग में.
exactly. And हम realize नहीं करते how frequently we go to the places we love, and or if we have a friend
Right.
coming, we'll be like, "Arey, this is the place we want to take you to." So it's
Exactly.
these brands that, of course, have suffered over the pandemic. Like they
Hmm.
all had layoffs, shutdowns, everything. So the Foodverse will basically help these brands connect with their audience. Like
Hmm.
for example, we have Fuzzy Cafe with us as a partner. So
Right.
we've built a treasure hunt for them where people can solve clues in Fuzzy style and collect
Oh,
ingredients.
okay. Hmm.
And the winners in that game, the ones who do well, will actually
Hmm.
go to Fuzzy Cafe and get a dish. So
Ah,
that's what I
acha,
mean.
okay.
That have
Right.
real life mein. So you're taking real life brands into
Hmm.
the metaverse space, and the customer comes from the metaverse into real life to enjoy the food. So yeah,
Okay.
that's the Foodverse.
Okay. So it is basically connecting the virtual world of food with gaming. That
Yes.
is the basic
Gaming for
idea.
now, because gaming is the most fun thing. Actually, we all heard about metaverse last year, especially with Facebook
Right.
coming in. But
Right.
the vision of metaverse is not clear right now, that what will
Hmm.
really come. So there have been metaverses that have been launched, but when you go inside, you're just standing there. So I think
Right. You're like,
gaming
ab
is
kya
what
kare?
makes it fun. Exactly. So
Right.
gaming is what makes it fun, basically.
Hmm.
Gaming is what allows a user to be like, acha, I gotta do this, and then okay, here I win this. Now I take this to a restaurant, I get a dish.
Right. Okay, so this is like the new way of connecting to the restaurant in a way that is other than just, ordering food, getting your food, eating it, and chalo ho gaya. Usse
Yeah.
zyada basically in a way to connect with the restaurant.
I
That's a
think
very cool thing.
abhi ke liye you can call it like the next wave of social media. Social media is
Right.
going 3D now.
Right. So let's like digress maybe a little bit. You talked about gulatis and you talked about food. So can you tell us like what is one of your favorite items that you like to eat, and what is Supreet's favorite food to eat?
Golgappe any day.
Golgappe, right?
I cannot survive very long without them. So hands down, and I'm very judgmental about them and which place does a good one or not.
Right.
Very
So which is that
specific.
one place that is your favorite then?
So actually there are two. One is Nathu's in Bengal, Bengali
Uh,
market,
Perfect.
because
Right.
bachpan se khaya hai. And the
The
second is
OG, I
actually
would say.
the second is Bengal Sweet House in Vasant Vihar, which is also very
Okay.
good. It's a
Hmm.
very small shop, but
Hmm.
brilliant.
Brilliant, right. I mean, you talked about food and you're talking about the metaverse. I am a foodie, so just had to ask this question.
No, no, absolutely. And that's why I love what I do, because I think there's no better discussion than food. Like I feel like out of
Right,
all blockchain projects, I have the most fun project. So I have to stay very
right.
happy discussing food.
That is very true. It is the perfect way to talk to probably anyone around you, because food is something ki sabko kuch na kuch everyone will have an opinion. Everyone will have their favorite dish. So perfect cheese to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you said that it is a way to connect the restaurant to the customer in a way that is beyond just food. So how does NFTs sort of play a role in it? Because if it is just gaming, how is NFT a part of it?
So what happens is that till now, you go to a restaurant, like I said, it's very one way. With
Hmm.
NFT, you actually get ownership of this process. So if you
Okay.
own a loyalty card, that is yours.
Hmm.
If the value goes up, you can actually sell it to someone else as well. Let's say in a
Acha.
game,
Okay.
I'll give it in a different example. Let's say
Hmm.
we've played Candy Crush, or the boys have played
Right.
PUBG. So you are
Right.
going up these levels. You've hit 1,000 level, 1,500
Hmm.
level, but आपने वो device छोड़ दी and everything is gone.
Hmm.
In that account, you can't really use it.
Use
In
it, right. You
blockchain,
can't save
that
stuff right there.
exactly. And you can't
Hmm.
transfer it also. Let's say आपने बहुत points कमाए हैं. This is something that, it's a great profile, but you can't
Hmm.
pass it forward. That's what
Right.
NFTs change, because if you own that profile as an NFT, you can actually sell it also. You can transfer
Okay.
it to someone else. So in
Hmm.
that way, and it also allows for original traceability. Let's say you want
Hmm.
to go to a concert, so if it's
Right.
an NFT, कोई
Hmm.
food festival है, then
Hmm.
your ticket is 100% authentic because it's authenticated on the blockchain.
Okay, wow. That is very
Yeah.
unique, I would say, because ऐसा honestly मैंने तो कभी खुदा ने सुना. Not that I have, not that I'm an expert in NFT or something. I'm not. I am just as a newbie as anyone else. But
Yeah.
still, it sounds really interesting.
Yeah. No, I think in the next 5 years, all ticketing will actually move to NFTs for events or music concerts, and it'll actually even prevent things like black marketing, because people will have tickets and traceability as NFTs about where
Right,
they
right.
are, who they're selling
Because
to.
that ticket will be just yours. You cannot like sell it to someone else so easily.
Yeah, yeah. And if you're part of, let's say, Saransh Goyla's NFT 100 club, then you're
Hmm.
part of, the 100 decision makers that kind of, help
Ah,
Goyla Butter Chicken as special
right.
consultants. And then again, it's your ownership to have. If you want
Hmm.
to transfer, if you want to gift your mom a 3-course dinner with that
Hmm.
NFT, it goes to her. So things like that, it basically will make you have more power in the whole equation, I would say.
Right, exactly. So, like talking about this entire field of cryptocurrency, NFTs, blockchains, metaverse, um, a lot of it, like even as you said that your husband was before you and into it. So, as a woman entering, this entire space, did you ever feel that it's a more male-dominated space, and did you ever feel like intimidated, or was it like no, it's equally there are men also, there are women also, and I'll fit in right away. How was your feeling in that sense, and how was your experience ahead of it also?
So definitely, it has far lesser women. To be honest,
Mhm.
it had back then also when I started, and it still has
Right.
fewer.
Hmm.
They are increasing day by day. We have a very high number of women in our team because we have designers. We actually have a lot of Niftians as well.
Ah,
Because
okay.
I'm it's my alma mater, but
Hmm.
they are less. But honestly, I didn't think it was a hindrance. I actually thought that
Hmm.
it was an opportunity, and I was treated very, very well for being a woman. I think I had the ability to make my way and kind of like be able to present or put a different angle across to things, which is something
Right.
sometimes guys can't do. So
Right. Right.
when we went out for investment as well, it was an edge that I had. For me, it was never a drawback to be a woman here. It was always an
Okay.
edge to have,
Hmm.
and kind of just be here in this space and grow, and hopefully let more women grow with me as well. But it's good
That's
to see
great.
now that now it is changing. I think it's because men are more intuitive, so they'll jump into something new.
Huh.
Women like the idea of formal education, ki koi course karke, they want to
Right.
come the right way. So I think
Right.
that is beginning to
Exactly.
happen now.
I think that is a very nice observation of between like men and women, because yes, this happens. Like even if I talk about myself personally, it is always like I want to research first. I want to understand what I'm getting into. Then I'll probably go for it. But men that way, they're like, "ठीक है, let's take this risk. ये risk लेते हैं, let's see where it goes." That is a very
Exactly.
nice observation, I would say.
Yeah, so I think that was the case, and now because it's become more, there is much more education available. There are more
Hmm.
blogs. There's more legal clarity. Everything is coming up in a way that women feel
Right.
more safe that this could be a
Hmm.
possible career for them to come
Exactly.
into. So I think that is what is changing now. So there are more women for sure. Lesser
Hmm.
women founders, I would say. More women who
Hmm.
are employed with companies.
Right. But I think that is how it will sort of start also, because if women will, as long as they start exploring, automatically aage jaake they will sort of start establishing it for other women as well.
And
And
I think
kudos to you
all
for,
successful
right.
companies need a woman co-founder. So I'm
That is true.
definitely sure women are bringing a lot more to these companies now.
Absolutely. And kudos to you for actually promoting it amongst women also. Like you said that there are a lot of women in your team. So that is also great, because ऐसे ही organizations से ऐसे ही efforts और initiatives से थोड़ा parity between male and women बढ़ती है, which is
I
important.
mean, yeah, I mean, not doing something exceptional. To be honest, we hire
Hmm.
people like we are gender agnostic when we are hiring because we are a remote
Right.
company. So we
Hmm.
don't look at the gender while
Hmm.
hiring. But women are definitely so dedicated, and like I genuinely feel like they make our workplace better. So we are thrilled to have them. And yeah, I think that's not our bit. I think it's naturally what OneRare
Naturally,
needs at
right.
least.
Right, exactly. And there's a common question that I ask all the ladies on my show, Ladies First, that this is also an observation that I have socially sort of made from around myself, that for men, it is work-life balance. But when it comes to women, it's work-life, family, home balance. So how do you deal with that? Like, how do you
I think
create a system for yourself?
I think it's been interesting because my husband is my co-founder. So
Hmm.
we have a very intermixed home and workspace at the moment. We work
Right.
remotely. So
Hmm.
at one point in
सब
time I
कुछ
used to
एक साथ
laugh.
like everything everywhere all at once.
Exactly. Exactly. I used to laugh to Gaurav that, I think you started feeling कि मेरे forehead पे one red का tattoo है. Like you look at me and you think of work. So
Right, right.
it's been interesting, and there have been a lot of stressful times. But
Hmm.
I think the good part is that because this is a person I trust blindly with my whole
Hmm.
life, so it's easy to trust him as my work partner as well.
Right, right.
And we try to, I wouldn't say we're 100% successful because I think
Hmm.
no startup is, but
Right.
we do try.
Takes time
We
to sort
try
of
to,
build up to that level.
yeah, yeah. And I think like with startups and even the market scenario right now, it's like you're just so like, you're expected to be nervous. You're
Hmm.
expected to be like either
Right.
you're racing up or you're
Uh,
falling down. So
right.
uh, it's just
Thriving is
something.
still something that is not very well established. कि ठीक है, we are in the middle somewhere. We're growing
Yeah.
towards it.
Yeah, and I think guys are impatient builders compared to women. So
Right.
yeah, so we are trying. We do try
Hmm.
to take our small breaks. We do try to have
Right.
some hobby or something, but
Hmm.
right now I think that's the best we can do because we feel
Hmm.
responsible for our staff. We feel responsible for the one rare baby we have created. So we
Right.
need to grow this and see this out for now for sure.
Right. And like, how does it work? Like, ghar ka kaam bhi, of course, when you are working inside of your home, khana banana and stuff. So, like, do you guys sort of divide your responsibilities, or like सबका sort of sorted है कि तुम्हें ये करना है, मुझे ये करना है? How does that work?
So if I start cooking all three meals, so I think I'll be cooking all 24 hours because I'm very slow.
Right.
So
I have
I'm
seen myself and I've seen my mother. That is so true. लोग समझते नहीं है,
so
लोगों से 1 घंटे में खाना बन जाता है, वैसा होता नहीं है.
yeah, I don't know किसका बनता है. I honestly
Right.
don't know
That's it.
because I have cooked through the pandemic. I remember one time I told Gaurav, "Oh, we are getting bored because in the middle of the lockdown I was cooking. I made gobi Manchurian. After 3 hours, 1/4 plate worth of gobi came out, which he ate, and he was like, "What's for dinner?" And I was so
That
heartbroken.
is dinner.
Like this was dinner for both of
Right.
us. So yeah, so cooking apart, but definitely everything else is something that we do try to balance. And he
Hmm.
cooks as well, so do I a little bit. But um, I think there are some things that for us as a couple, it's about what we enjoy doing more. So for me,
Hmm.
having a cleaner room, I would say, is more
Right.
enjoyable than him. So
Right.
yeah, I think it's just in
Balance
those
is the
small
key.
things. Yeah, yeah. It's
Right.
just like we
Hmm.
don't make it a fight for equality ki like
Hmm.
1:1. It's a
Hmm.
balance for us.
That is a nice thing. And plus अपने अपनी प्रायोरिटीज के बेसिस पे कि you want this, तो आपने वो कर लिया, उनको ये चाहिए तो उन्होंने वो कर लिया. That works well that way also, as
Yeah,
long as
yeah. No,
everything is
we
done.
exactly. Well, I think we are very blessed that way. We've been together now for eight years, I think. So
Wow.
yeah, in no enough of like I think it's a known devil for both of us.
Right, right. And talking about you, like, what is your perfect way, like after a stressful day, to sort of, relax, unwind, me time में क्या करना अच्छा लगता है आपको?
So I think me time, I love socializing. Like I love my friends. Friendships are very
Hmm.
important to me. So hanging with my family or friends, or I had my dog earlier. So that was
Right.
definitely one part. But if I've
Hmm.
spoken too much in a day, then I just want to watch TV or Netflix. Like
Hmm.
then I
Right.
don't
Netflix
if
and chill,
I'm
perfect.
yeah, like if I'm exhausted, then kuch bhi laga do. I can binge watch any series if I'm dedicated to it.
Right. That is like the perfect way. So, any recent series or any favorite series that you would like to share with us that you recently watched?
I think something very different that I saw recently was a show on Netflix called Physical 100. I don't know whether you've
Okay.
heard of it. It's a
Okay.
Korean
I
show.
haven't, like, yeah.
It's because it's something I think very strange that flashed on my Netflix,
Hmm.
but it's 100 athletes from Korea who are like anything between an Olympian to the world's strongest man, and they're
Hmm.
looking for the strongest human being. So they go
Oh,
through these
wow.
physical tasks that are insane. Matlab, for
Hmm.
me, it's a show that I've never seen before, and I was
Right.
like really taken in by it.
Mm.
So I think that was the last show that I was like, oh my God, how are they doing this?
Sounds
So I
really
think
interesting and very different. Like I've never heard of something of that sort.
and it's bizarre. Like they lift rocks, they do activities, and
My God.
yeah, matlab, you start wondering how much you're capable of after watching
र-
that show.
राइट मतलब खुद को ही कॉम्प्लेक्स होने लग जाए कि यार यहाँ तो बेसिक हेल्थ की भी
हाँ,
उतनी श्योरिटी
हाँ,
लगी
exactly,
है.
exactly. So I think that show is something like बहुत ही like of course I've seen Fuzzy and मतलब you see a lot of these web series, but ये
Right,
थोड़ा
right.
सा अलग था for me at least.
Something unique, something out of the ordinary.
Yeah, absolutely. And very interesting. Matlab, you realize that even if you don't understand their language, how
Hmm.
much of raw emotion you can understand. So,
Right,
if you
exactly.
haven't seen it, you should try it for sure.
Noted in my list. मैं आज ही उसको अपने Netflix की list में add कर लूंगी for sure.
Perfect.
So, Supreet, it was really great talking to you. And I honestly got so many insights because I am a newbie as far as this whole world of metaverse is concerned. And seeing a woman flourish so well in, again, as you yourself said, that it's a sort of a male dominated field still field till now. But let's hope that more women come up and more women take up this as a career and get inspired by you as well. And kudos to the kind of work you're doing. Seriously.
Thank you so much. Thank you so I'm not used to that many kind words, but thank you.
No,
Yeah,
but
we are
you should
really
be used to do it because ये सिर्फ शुरुआत है. Believe me.
I hope so. Hope so. Yeah, and we're really looking forward to it. We in fact announced Maggie as a partner yesterday. We have a couple of
Wow.
more announcements coming into the foodverse. So
Right.
we are very proud that it's not just India's first foodverse; it's actually the world's first foodverse. So that is
My
something
God.
that we
That's
take a lot of pride in, and
right.
we're really hoping that this shows India and all of us at a different level now.
That is a very unique thing, as I said in the beginning also. Matlab, to do it as the first one to be to do it on a global level is also seriously amazing. So let's hope that it grows many fold. And the next time that hopefully we get to meet or online also, you'll have some huge brands working with you and you'll be recognized as the world's first food metaverse, I'm sure.
Thank you so much. Yes, next time is in person for sure.
Yes, definitely. So thank you so much for joining with me, Supreet. It was so amazing talking to you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
All the very best. Thanks a lot.